How did Ayrton Senna, the exceptionally gifted champion who would constantly push back the limits, find his trajectory so brutally terminated? The first fingers pointed to the Tamburello curve, a sinister memory for Senna's friend Gerhard Berger, who had himself almost lost his life there 5 years previously.
I went with close to 300 k's just straight on into the beton wall, and just through a miracle, everything exploded. I was in fire. Just through a miracle, I survived. And I remember well, I've been in the hospital, and Ayrton found me in the hospital, and I say, when I'm back to Imola, we should go to this wall, because this wall, it's really terrible. And you're so fast, and if you get into this wall, it's just difficult to survive. And the next test, we've been in Imola, Ayrton and myself walked to this corner, to my place where we had the accident, and we looked to move the wall. And we looked behind the wall, and behind the wall is a small river. And we looked both each other and say, we cannot move it because behind is a river. And we left again. And I think 5 meters from this place where we stand and discussed this, he died.
The explanation concerning the wall left fans and experts alike bewildered. Surely only a technical problem could have caused the accident.
It's very difficult to determine if his leaving the track was due to the steering column breaking, which seems to be the case based on all the elements available at the time, or whether it broke afterwards. But we know there was no human error, that Senna was not ill, that he hadn't fainted, which could have been the case. We can see him struggling with the car up to the last moment, working the brakes and the accelerator. Everything he could have done, he did. But what killed him was the extremely unfortunate fact that something penetrated his helmet, going into his head, a piece of metal from the suspension.
If you had to pick one lasting image of Ayrton, what would it be?
Unfortunately, there are 2 or 3 images from that Sunday before the race. The message in the morning, when he came to see me at lunchtime for a couple of minutes, and then when we shook hands, which is pretty unusual just before the race. I happened to walk past him, we looked at one another, we shook hands, and I wished him good luck. I almost wish I hadn't.
That it could touch a driver like Ayrton, who was protected from everything, who was something of an archangel, and so ultimately untouchable. We were often in the realm of the superhuman. It was something that brutally brought us down to earth. We realized that something that was utterly unthinkable just seconds before had actually happened. A man had been killed, and for us, whose job is to enable the drivers to race, to practice a sport, it was really something that made us ask some very basic questions about our profession. Why do we do this job? What on earth is this business that can bring about a man's death?
There would be a before and after Senna. His death put an end to the pursuit of sheer performance. Engines would be less powerful and racetracks less dangerous. It took the death of its greatest champion for Formula One to make safety a priority. In Brazil, 3 days of national mourning honored the death of Ayrton Senna before he was laid to rest for eternity in the Morumbi Cemetery in Sao Paulo. Nothing can keep me from the love of God can be read on his headstone in the shade of an ipe tree from Amazonia. A little shade and stillness for a man who perhaps liked nothing more than brilliance and high velocity.